Here it goes. Alright, so here we are again. It's Monday. It's back to the working week for most people. Whether that's working from home or working in an office or working in retail or working in some shitty fast food job. Either way, Monday's most people's work day. It's back to the working week. Which, I hope it doesn't throw you, and I hope it doesn't kill you. Or something like that. It's Monday. It's August the 23rd, 2021. And this is my video message from my friend Lilla, a friend of mine who lives around and around the world while I'm lying and lonely. While I live in the state of Oklahoma and have mostly lived in the state of Oklahoma for the majority of my life. So today's message, Lilla, if you're watching, is I have a funny anecdote I want to share. There's a huge supermarket in my hometown, and it's been here for years, for many years, and it's only gotten bigger over time. But it's been here for longer than I've been alive, and I've been here, shopping my whole life. And I, used to come here a lot just to walk around the store when I was a teenager. It's a 24-hour store, or at least it was before COVID. I would come in late at night just to walk around the store. I would come at 2, 3, 4 a.m. to walk around the store. Not doing anything, not shopping, just walking around the store. And so it became a regular thing for me in high school and after high school to just come walk around the store sometimes. So that's what I would do. And so one day I was walking around the store, and the guy that they have is like an undercover guy who actually is very blatantly obvious. He's an undercover guy. The guy's supposed to be a plainclothes cop. He's supposed to blend in. However, he sticks out like a sore thumb because 1, he wears aviator shades at night. 2, he dresses like it's 1974, right down to the bell bottoms, leisure type suit, the flowered button down shirts. He wears his hair shaggy like mine, and he has a big thick like 70s cop mustache. Even his car is like an old 70s car that he drives, and yet he's supposed to just blend in, even though he looks very much like he's somehow warped from the 70s to the present day somehow. So anyways, this guy walks around the store regularly, and he's supposed to keep an eye on things, he's a plainclothes security guy. And I noticed this particular day I was walking around the store, he started following me. Because, after all, what's more suspicious than just a guy walking around the store just looking at things, not buying anything, just looking, just browsing. And I knew he was following me, So I went down one aisle, and there he came a little while after. Then I went down another aisle, and there he came a little while after. And then I went down in another aisle, and there he was after. So I decided, you know what? This is insulting. So, if this guy's going to follow me around, I'm just going to waste his time. So that's what I did. I walked all around the store in random areas, random pattern. And I made several laps around the store. And I would, look like I was going to go one way and then suddenly go down another way. Things like that. For about 3 hours, this guy followed me the whole time. And, I don't know, I still think about that a lot. I think it's a funny story. But really, I'm not doing anything. I'm not looking suspicious. I'm just an ordinary person. I'm not doing anything suspicious. And And at the time, I certainly wasn't wearing like these thick, dark sunglasses, so I didn't look like I was the Unabomber or anything. But you know, but you know, he just set his sights on me. I guess he thought I was up to no good, just wandering around. So yeah, I was like, you know what? If you want to waste my time, sorry, playing the stream. If you want to waste my time, that's fine. I will waste yours in return. And that's one of the many boring stories from my life. I got many, many, many more boring stories. I've led a very uninteresting life. I haven't done much. I haven't seen anything. I'm a boring person, and I wasted my life. That's the long and short of it, honestly. And so I mean, that's that story. I mean, I could tell other stories, but you know, it's not that interesting. What else? What is mildly interesting, I guess, for me, I can talk about from my life. I've known a bunch of people. And I've either met or have known celebrities, but I myself have never been a celebrity or known a celebrity. But I've met people who have either talked to at one time or actually at one point had been friends with celebrities. There are people here in my hometown who knew, and have even been related to a certain big name country singer that grew up here. I can see why I got out. This town doesn't really have much. It's a nice town, and I do like it. I love living here. But most people hate it here because there's really nothing here. You have your basic stuff. You have a few grocery stores. You got some banks. If you're religious, there's lots and lots of churches to go to. Like a church on every block in this town. You know, it's a fairly big town. It's not like a teeny tiny place. You have two or three hospitals. You have several fast food places. You have several dine-in type restaurants. You got 2 shopping centers, several gas stations, several convenience stores, 3 or 4 general stores, 3 or 4, maybe 5 general stores. You know, it has everything you need. It has a big city hall, a big fire department, a big police station. Even the electrical company is big here. Runs the power in town. But, I mean, aside from that, there's really not much here. We don't have like a huge mall. We have shopping centers, but we don't have an actual mall. We have a nice movie theater if you like movies. And that's like most people's entertainment around here. We have a bunch of bars where live bands play, which is fun. I went to see several local bands perform, and there's a lot of talented people here, or a lot of talented people that like tour the region, you know, tour the state and play here in town. They book some good people. There's some good local bands in the local music scene here. You know, and there's a couple of parks. There's a really, really big park with a huge lake in the middle of it. It's nice to walk around. So there's a few things here, but not a whole lot. There's an arcade here that has video games, laser tag, bowling, a bunch of other fun stuff. I like doing that. My favorite thing to do there is either bowl or play the arcade games. Not much for laser tag. And they have a few other things too there. It's like a big family rec center. And every year in October they have a haunted house, which is fun to go through. If you like that kind of thing, which I do. But aside from all that, I can't really think of a whole lot else they have. I mean, they have a skate park. I mean, if you're into rollerblading or skateboarding, they have that. Excuse me. But kids here really don't have a whole lot else. And a lot of them spend their weekend just kind of hanging out in this parking lot over in a shopping center. Oh shit! We got 3 shopping centers. I'm sure. The main shopping center is a huge parking lot, and across from it is a few like fast food places, and they hang out there on the weekends, and they're there until God knows when in the morning, and that's all they do. They just hang out in their cars and talk. And I don't blame them. I mean, you don't have a mall to go walk around in. There's no 24-hour places here, so you can't like just go sit in a diner at 3 a.m. Which is really what I wish. I wish this town would have 24-hour places, because we need that. I would love to be able to just go like to a Denny's at 4 a.m. and just sunrise. Love Denny's. Or even better, a Waffle House would be even better. So, but yeah, I mean, unless, if you're up late at night, there's not a lot to do. So, back when this major supermarket was a 24-hour store, a lot of people go walk around that late at night, and I would walk around that late at night. And that was a big thing for a long time. And now that that's not, people hang out late at night. I'm sure a lot of people go cruising around the town. There's a lot of back roads in the area. A lot of people hit those, I'm sure, driving around. During the day, like I said, there's movies, there's the family center, we can go bowling. We do have a comic book store, which, I mean, if you're into that stuff, if you're into nerdy comics, geeky kind of stuff, that's good. They keep odd hours, but it's still cool that we have one. It's run by a guy who does other things on the side. He kind of does this as a hobby. And that store's been there forever, for years and years and years. We used to have another similar type store, but they keep closing. We had one that was like a similar comic store, but it was also a gaming store where people could come in and play games, and play Magic, stuff like that. And then it closed because the guy who ran it didn't really run it seriously, and then we had another store open in its place that was the same thing. It was a different owner, but it was the same kind of business where they sold, games. They sold like dungeon guides, magic cards, comic books, stuff like that. And that was fun. I wish that was still around because I really liked that place. I bought some comics there a few times. It was good. What else do we have here? If you're like me and love to read, we have a public library that's very big and has a lot of great selection. There's a wide range of fiction, non-fiction, and there's an entire children's section of books for kids as well as teenagers. And a lot of people hang out there too. A lot of people hang out there just to like go on the computers or just hang out on their phones or whatever. Which is good. I'm glad there's a place like that for people. Just can feel welcome to just hang out and loiter if they want. And then we also have a college here, so there's a nice campus library that has it also has a lot of stuff, but it's more of a research library, so it's far more non-fiction, obviously, and like sections depending on what subject you're majoring in. So there's a whole section of like law books, a whole section of like books on cinema, a whole section of like books on health, a whole section of books on history, a whole section on religion. That's all fun. They do have a lot of fiction too, though, and I have checked out quite a bit of books from there, though. Including this book by Kelly Lee, Get in Trouble, which I just did a video on. Go watch my video on Get in Trouble. It's great. And it's a good book. So, I mean, yeah, they do have a wide range of fiction there too, but they have far more like nonfiction, which I like too. I also read just as much of that stuff as I do nonfiction. So I love going to the campus library because I have a community patron card, which allows me to use the library, the way a student would. It's fun. So if you're into reading, I mean, we have those things. You have the comic store. We have the libraries. I wish we had a bookstore. That's something that we don't have. They sell books at this major supermarket I've been talking about, but they don't have a whole big selection. It's very small. Their book section is very, very small and only has like the new stuff. And when I say new stuff, it only has like the New York Times best-selling writers' newest books. It doesn't have any like broad selection. It doesn't have more obscure books by new upcoming writers or books published by indie authors or anything like that. Which, I mean, I guess it's fine. I mean, I've bought a lot of books when they came out from there. They looked interesting. I picked up the newest Stephen King novel, Billy Summers, recently from there, and I've bought other books from there. I've bought bought a lot. Most of them like paperback releases of new novels by like people like Michael Connelly, C.J. Tudor, people like that. But they don't really have a broad selection. And we do have a second-hand bookstore downtown, but it's one, it's only open 2 days a week, and two, the hours are only like I think 5 hours per day. The woman that runs it is her parents own the building, so she's kind of just doing it for them. I don't know much about them, but I take it they're well off, and so she just kind of runs it as just kind of a side thing. Which they have great stuff. I've bought a lot of books from there before. They're pricey. She charges way too much for her books, but she does have a good selection. I don't know why her stuff is so overpriced. Some of it I can see why. She does have a lot of obscure, or sometimes even out of print books. And she also has a lot of books by like lesser known writers, or writers who are well known but have like lesser known titles by them. I can see her charging maybe a little more for those, but she also has things that just like you can find anywhere, new editions even, probably cheaper prices. But if you're like a loyalist that collects secondhand books or collects like older editions of novels and things, and I can see doing that. I myself am an aficionado of certain types of classic paperback books and collect those. I often collect. I have a huge collection of paperback teen horror novels from the 80s and 90s, which I'm really big into. Stuff by writers like Christopher Pike, R.L. Stein, Carolyn B. Cooney, Richie Tinkersley, Diane Ho, people like that. I love all that stuff, and I collect those. And I actually have a pretty sizable collection of retro teen thrillers. They're great fun. I really like them a lot. So I always like to go through secondhand shops, no matter where I am, try to pick up some. Although I've had more like buying them online than I have in a physical store, but I have picked up some here and there. There's a town about 2 hours from my hometown that has a really good secondhand bookstore. It actually has an even bigger selection and even more titles, and I bought a lot of stuff from them too. Plus, the woman that runs that store is very nice. The one that runs the secondhand store here is not so nice. She's kind of very judgmental and kind of looks down at everybody. And I'm just like, live and let live, not everybody has the same opinions as you, and you shouldn't snub people that do, But as far as like an actual selection of books, their stuff's not bad. It's the only actual bookstore here in town. So. I love secondhand bookstores. I'm glad we have one. I just wish he was open more than 2 days a week. But anyway, so that covers all your books. And plus, I also mentioned, speaking of buying books, the public library every year has a fall book sale and a spring book sale where they sell old, discarded copies of their books, or books that were donated to them that they never put into circulation, or books that they've had for 50 years that they finally decided to take out of circulation. And I love it. The only problem with that is they don't promote it. They have a very kind of snobbish attitude about it. Because even though technically the book sale was open to everybody, they really only want their snobby, literary friends to like go to it. They don't want just the average person buying their books, which is bullshit because, they actually sell them for prices anybody can afford. They just don't want anybody coming in. And so they don't really promote it. They don't talk about it much. They may put up like one notice for it before it comes out. And they only have it, I think, for 2 days before they end it. So it's one of those things. If you can catch it, they have a pretty good selection of stuff. I've bought a lot of things from it when they've had it. One year I even ran the sale. Like I was taking the money and giving people change, selling the books to people. That was great because they do allow people to volunteer at the library, which I've done a lot in the past. I love doing that kind of work, and so you basically work as a librarian, you're just doing it for free, so that's great. Really, really love that. And so it was fun actually, the 1 year I got to run the book sale. That was great. And in exchange for doing it, they let me take a book home with me for doing that. That was good. But yeah, they actually have a lot of good stuff that they just kind of keep in storage. They never like bring out. I've organized a lot of their books in storage, and I'm like, wow, this is good stuff. Although a lot of it's stuff I'm like, yeah, I can see why they don't put this into circulation. I get that. But they have a few things I'm like, wow, that's actually pretty interesting. Why don't they put that into the circulation and let people borrow it? That would be nice. But yeah, I love libraries. There's one in like every town around here, and I go to a bunch of them. I have a card for a few in this area. There's some good ones with some good selection around. The same town I mentioned a minute ago, that's about 2 hours away, has a really nice library. A bunch of good stuff. And the thing about that library is they have a huge comics selection, which is great because I love comics and graphic novels, and they actually have a lot of those to offer there. Whereas the public library here has no comics whatsoever. They used to have a comics section, I remember, but no longer. They kind of just abandoned it, which really sucks because people like comics. Adults read comics, kids read comics, everybody reads comics. Some people only read comics. Some people don't read traditional novels or books of short stories or books of poetry or whatever. Some people just entirely just read manga or graphic novels. So I think that that should be an option in any library. I would say is to have an option for comics and graphic novels. Have plenty of manga on hand, because that's popular now, and it's been growing in popularity in the last 15 years. And while I like manga, I don't typically read it very often, but I'd like to maybe I'll start getting into it more. Maybe I'll start reading some manga. Anyway, I don't really have much else to say. I'm just kind of talking about what little there is here to offer, which got me started on books. and I can talk about books for 3 hours straight. So I probably best rein it in. But yeah, I have a little bit of to offer here, but not a whole lot. I wonder, is there a lot of things where you are? Do you have a lot of entertainment, a lot of nice places to go? You know, tell me what it's like. Y'all have a movie theater? Do you have a regular theater? Do they put on plays? Do they have productions of things? That would be great. There's a little theater company here, but they don't really do a whole lot. I've been to a few of their productions, and every year they have Shakespeare in the Park here. And they do like Romeo and Juliet, Midnight Summer's Dream. I think a few years ago they did Caesar. That was cool seeing that though. The park here has a huge amphitheater built into it, and every summer they come out. A small production company here does the theater, comes out and does Shakespeare, and it's really cool. I've been to it a few times, and it's really neat. But yeah, tell me what your town is like. I want to know what stuff there is to do. If y'all have good restaurants, if y'all have good entertainment, do y'all have like arcades? Do y'all have things? Y'all have like a Dave and Buster's there? That'd be cool. I wouldn't mind a Dave and Buster's here, actually. The one thing, I'm fine with everything the town has, but the one thing I really, really want and wish we had, and we've never had, is a Whataburger. A Whataburger. I want a Whataburger so badly. I don't know if I've ever told you about Whataburger, Lilla, but let me explain. So, as I mentioned, Lilla, you live in Europe. You live around the world. So, I don't know if you've heard of this place or if I've mentioned it, but there's a regional fast food chain in my part of the country that, especially in Texas and Oklahoma, called Whataburger. It's like, what a burger. It's like Whataburger. And that's how it's spelled, but it's one word, Whataburger. And it's the best. Like, the best fast food I've ever had, in my life. I've tried all the major chains. I've been to all of them. It blows all of them out of the water. The one I haven't tried, everyone says is amazing, is In-N-Out Burger, but I've never had In-N-Out Burger. Everyone says that one's the best, but I don't know. I've never tried it. I can't make an opinion on it. But yeah, I think for the most part, I've tried all the chains. At least most of them. And there's a lot of local chains too that I've tried. And nothing else comes close. It's amazing. The best cheeseburger you'll ever have. And their fries are fantastic. And they have milkshakes. The milkshakes are incredible. And I just love it. Oh my god. People from around here will vouch for this. If you talk to anybody from Texas or Oklahoma, they're gonna be like, yeah, Whataburger's the best. People around here really love it, and it's fantastic. I wish we had one here. I would kill for a Whataburger here. If we had a Whataburger here, I'm like, this town would be perfect. I would ask nothing else. That's really the only thing I want. I don't care what else we get, but please, for the love of God, we need a Whataburger here. The closest one, I think, is about an hour drive. And the one I go to is about 2 hours away. The one I go to is the one in the town I was talking about. It's about a 2-hour drive. That has all the other stuff there too. But every time I'm in town there, I always go to Whataburger. the best thing about the one there is 24 hours. Like, I think most of the Whataburgers are 24 hours, which is even better. It makes it all the better that you can go to a Whataburger at 3 or 4 in the morning and get a double cheeseburger and fries. It's like the best thing ever. Like, holy shit. Just another reason why Whataburger is the best. So, yeah, I don't know if I've ever told you about it, but it's a great place. I love it. And I think it's the best. It blows everything else out of the water. You know, especially chains that I think are just shitty, like just really shitty food. There's certain popular national, international franchises that I think just aren't good. There's a particular place, and I'm not going to name names in case anybody hears this, and, you know, somehow manages to try to sue me. But I'm not going to name names. But I will say there are places that are international, that are known everywhere, that I don't care for. One particular place that sells burgers and is all over the place, I don't like. And I've been to several locations, and they're all terrible. There's one here, I don't like it. There's one down in the same town I mentioned, I don't like it. There's one down even further in the town of Gainesville, which is in Texas, that I don't like. I've ate it at a few locations elsewhere. I ate one. There was a location when I lived in Iowa that I didn't like. I tried a location when I lived in Wisconsin that I didn't like. And I even ate at one once in Illinois. I didn't like it. So it's just safe to say I just don't like the food there. I've ate at several locations across the country, and I can't say I like it. And that's one of the big ones. It's one of the national franchise restaurants that are everywhere. And there are a few like that I just don't think are very good, no matter where you go. And I've had them also at other places around the country, and I just don't like them. However, there are others that I do like. So here's the part where I will name names because I like them and I want to give them attention, because I think they're as good as everyone says they are. So I already mentioned Whataburger, which is like my favorite fast food place ever, and I love it with all my heart, and it's better than everybody else. I'm sorry everybody else, but Whataburger is the best. So I mentioned that. My second favorite fast food place is Jack in the Box, which those are national too, and those are amazing, and everyone I've ever been to is great. I really like Jack in the Box a lot. We have one here in my hometown, and I go there all the time. Like, every time I go out to eat, Jack in the Box. So that was another favorite. And so let's see, there's some other national ones that may even be international too that I really like, but that are all over the country. I'm a big fan of Burger King. I like Burger King a lot. They're all over the place. And I think there's even Burger Kings elsewhere, if I'm not mistaken. At least in a few countries. I'm sure there has to be ones like some in Europe, at least. They're so good. Especially just an old-fashioned Whopper. That's all I need. The Whopper is my favorite thing there. And their fries are really good too. Moving on from there, let's see, what are some other places I like Taco Bell. However, I just wish Taco Bell would bring back a lot of the things I like. They're not bad, but they've gotten rid of a lot of menu items that I really like. And allegedly a bunch of people feel the same because there's some that everybody wants back, like the taco pizza, which the taco pizza was very good. But yeah, I like Taco Bell. That one's good. Five Guys is really, really good. I love Five Guys. That's one of my favorite franchises as well. Like, Five Guys is like some damn good. Like, if you ever get a chance to go to a Five Guys, please do yourself a favor. That's one of the best too. I would actually put Five Guys like underneath Jack in the Box. So it'd be Whataburger, my top favorite. Jack in the Box is my second favorite. And then Five Guys would be my third favorite fast food places. And there's a local chain here in this region of the country called Brahms, which is pretty good. I think they're a notch above some national places. Honestly, I think they're very good. They're big around here, and they're all over this part of the country. And there's a lot of Brahms in Oklahoma. There's a bunch in Missouri, and I know there's some in Texas too. And there may even be some as far as Arkansas, but I know that they're kind of just in this region, especially Oklahoma and Missouri. But they're very good. Brahms is a good place, and it's named after the owner. His last name is Brahm. Yeah. So it's like Brahm apostrophe S. His place, Brahms, and it's very good. Although every time I think of the name, I think of the composer, Brahms. You know, who wrote the Lullaby. Yeah. Brahms is good. If you're ever this way, if you're ever in the Great Plains region of the U.S., you know, down this, if you ever find yourself, you know, in Missouri or Oklahoma or North Texas, you know, should you ever come here, you know, and find yourself in that part of the country, I recommend it. You know, recommend it. Especially their ice cream. Their ice cream is like the best ice cream I've ever had. They make their own ice cream. They're very proud of that fact, and they should be. It's like better than like store-bought ice cream. I'd rather eat Mom's ice cream than anybody else's ice cream, which makes their milkshakes heavenly. Their milkshakes, oh my god, the milkshakes, so good. Speaking of Brahms, the LA Times wrote an article that said Brahms may be better than In-N-Out Burger, which is fascinating to me because I've always liked Brahms, but I never thought of them as like beating which considered like the reputed best, because most people would say In-N-Out Burger is like the best burger place ever, and I would have to say, like, I haven't tried In-N-Out Burger. I'm sure it's good, but I don't know if I would think it's the best. I don't think anything will ever top Whataburger for me. That's just a personal preference because I've never had anything as good as Whataburger, and still haven't had anything as good as Whataburger, and I really don't think I ever will have anything as good as Whataburger. Whataburger, give me free food. I wish they saw this. If they saw this, I would, would love for them to do free stuff. At least a free, like, French fries. But I just never had anything better than a Whataburger. So when I read that the LA Times said Brahms may be better, talking about, one, I was surprised they even knew what Brahms was. I mean, I guess they have people that travel and find things like that. But two, I was just surprised to hear them say that. I don't know. I've known people that have said In-N-Out Burger is good. However, they also said that it wasn't the best. So just their personal opinion, they said that they thought other places were better. So maybe In-N-Out's more hyped than anything because they're only in a select few locations. In-N-Out's seems very... I don't know, I've always got the vibe that it's very exclusive. In-N-Out's only in a few cities around the country. There's only in mostly California. I think there's a couple like in Nevada, and I think there's one in like Dallas. I know there's one in like somewhere in Upper Texas. So I mean, theoretically, I could drive about 3-4 hours and try it. I guess. I just don't want to because I hate driving in Texas. The people there drive horribly, and especially if I'm in like the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Oh my God, the traffic there is a nightmare. I have no desire to drive in Dallas-Fort Worth ever, and I never will. I refuse to. If I ever have to go down to Dallas or anything, I'm just gonna drive up to OKC and take a plane down. Because goddamn, just being a passenger in the traffic there is like, oh Jesus, it makes me just like freak out. Much less want to drive it. But yes, theoretically there is an In-N-Out burger down there somewhere. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Just In-N-Out feels more like a hype thing. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it is fantastic. Maybe it is like the best goddamn burger ever. I don't know. It just feels like a hype thing. I don't know. So, anyways, I think those are my favorite burger places. Would be Whataburger, Jack in the Box, and Five Guys. And then Brahms would be fourth place, which isn't bad. You know, I've had far worse burgers than Brahms. Burger King would be 5 because I really love the Whopper, and their other food's good too. I really like Hardee's. Hardee's is good. Hardee's or Carl's Jr. depending where you go. It's the same place, but some places it's named differently. They're all good. Hardee's has a better selection than Carl's Jr. We mostly have Carl's Jr.'s here, whereas I've been to other places in the country where it's Hardee's, and Hardee's has a better menu. But they're both good. They both serve good burgers. Just one has a little more options than the other. But Hardee's is great. I like Hardee's a lot. I think they're underrated, honestly. Yeah, I would put them as like maybe 6 behind Burger King. And there's a local franchise called Sonic, which serves burgers and chicken and all kinds of other stuff. They're very good too. They're probably about 6. Making the top 10 burger places. But they're good. They're not my favorite, and I've had better, but Sonic is not bad. Like, I do like it. And they're popular around here because there's so many of them in this area. And I think there's some elsewhere too. There might be some further. I know there's one up in Illinois somewhere. So there might be some a little more scattered across the country. But they're primarily, as far as I know, in Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas. Okay, so that brings me to my next one, which would be Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen's really good, and they're all over. However, I like Dairy Queen more for the chicken strips than I do the burgers. Like, if I go to Dairy Queen, I always get the chicken strip basket. Because I think their chicken and gravy is better than the burgers they make. The ice cream is good, but they're more of a chicken place exclusively for me. The last time I had a burger there, I was kind of like, it's not that good. So since then, I've just been eating chicken. But I've been to a lot of Dairy Queens all over the country. They're all about the same. They're not bad. I just prefer the chicken. But as a restaurant, they're not bad. I don't know. I can't think of any more that are like some of the ones I think of the most, or some of my favorites. But I don't know. If I think of some other franchises, I'll mention them. But I guess that's it for now. I've been talking a long time, so I'm going to end it here. But I'll be back tomorrow to do another one of these. And so I hope to see you then, and I hope you're doing okay. So talk to you later.